Gertrude Bell was born in 1868 in County Durham, England. She was the daughter of a wealthy family and was well educated, studying history at Lady Margaret Hall, Oxford. She was a talented writer and photographer and traveled extensively throughout Europe and the Middle East. Before coming to Arabia, she spent time in Iran, where she learned to speak Persian and became interested in the history and culture of the region. She also worked as a political analyst for the British government during World War I, helping to shape British policy in the Middle East. In 1916, she was sent to Arabia, where she played a key role in the creation of modern Iraq and became known as the Queen of the Desert. She was fascinated by the culture and history of the Middle East and was eager to learn more about the people and the land. One day, she heard of a lost city deep in the desert, hidden away from the outside world for centuries. Despite the dangers and the many obstacles in her path, Gertrude decided to set out on an adventure to find the city and uncover its secrets. She journeyed across the desert, facing scorching heat and unforgiving terrain. But her determination never wavered. Finally, after many days of travel, she caught a glimpse of the lost city in the distance, glittering in the sun. As she approached the city, she was greeted by a group of local nomads who warned her of the dangers that lay ahead. But Gertrude was determined to reach the city, and she pressed on, braving the perils of the unknown. As she explored the ancient city, she discovered its rich history and the stories of the people who had lived there. She encountered many challenges along the way, but she never gave up, and eventually she succeeded in unlocking the secrets of the lost city. With her adventure complete, Gertrude returned to the outside world, eager to share her discoveries and her experiences with the world. Gertrude Bell had spent several years in Arabia, studying the culture and history of the region. She had become an expert in the ways of the desert, and was known as the Queen of the Desert for her fearless spirit and adventurous spirit. One day, she heard rumors of a mysterious ancient temple hidden deep in the heart of the desert. The temple was said to hold the key to unlocking the secrets of Arabia's past, and Gertrude was eager to find it. She set out on her journey, traveling across the scorching sands, facing treacherous sandstorms and scorching heat. But her spirit was undaunted, and she pressed on, determined to find the temple. Finally, after many days of travel, she caught a glimpse of the ancient structure in the distance. As she approached the temple, she was confronted by a group of fierce desert warriors who warned her to turn back. But Gertrude was not to be deterred. She stood her ground, and with her courage and her wits, she managed to outsmart the warriors and reach the temple. As she explored the temple, she discovered hidden chambers filled with ancient artifacts and secrets that had been lost for centuries. As she entered the temple, she was immediately struck by its grandeur and the intricate carvings that adorned its walls. She walked through the halls, marveling at the beauty of the temple, and she began to uncover its secrets. She discovered hidden chambers filled with ancient artifacts and treasures that had been lost for centuries. There were golden statues, intricate jewelry, and ancient scrolls filled with the wisdom of the ages. As she continued her exploration, she stumbled upon a room that held the key to unlocking the secrets of the temple. In the center of the room was a large stone statue, and as she approached it, she noticed a strange symbol etched into its surface. She quickly realized that the symbol was a riddle, and she set to work solving it. She spent hours deciphering the cryptic message, and finally, she succeeded in unlocking the secret of the temple. As she solved the riddle, the walls of the temple began to shake and the ground began to rumble. Suddenly, a bright light filled the room, and a figure appeared before her. The figure was a wise old sage, who had been waiting for someone to unlock the secrets of the temple for centuries. He thanked Gertrude for her bravery and her determination, and he revealed to her the greatest secret of the temple, the location of a hidden treasure trove that held the riches of Arabia's past. Gertrude was overjoyed at the prospect of discovering this treasure, and she set out on a new adventure to find it. She journeyed across the desert, facing many challenges and obstacles along the way, but she never gave up. Finally, after many days of travel, she reached the location of the hidden treasure trove. It was a vast underground chamber filled with gold, jewels, and artifacts of unrivaled beauty. Gertrude was filled with awe as she gazed upon the riches of Arabia's past. She had finally succeeded in unlocking the secrets of the temple, and her adventures had come full circle. With her quest complete, she returned to the outside world, eager to share her discoveries and her experiences with the world. She became known as the greatest adventurer of her time, and her story inspired countless others to follow in her footsteps and explore the mysteries of Arabia. Gertrude Bell had a successful career in politics in Arabia, where she was known for her intelligence, her diplomatic skills, and her unwavering commitment to her mission. She was appointed as a political advisor to the British government in the region, and she worked tirelessly to help shape the future of Arabia. One of her first adventures in politics came when she was tasked with negotiating a treaty between rival tribes in the desert. The tribes were at odds over a valuable water source, and Gertrude was asked to mediate the dispute. She set out into the desert, determined to find a solution that would satisfy both sides. She spent days talking to the leaders of both tribes, learning about their cultures, their traditions, and their grievances. Eventually, she succeeded in crafting a treaty that was fair to both sides. The treaty brought peace to the region, and it was widely praised as a triumph of diplomacy. Gertrude's adventures in politics continued as she traveled across the desert, meeting with local leaders, negotiating treaties, and representing the interests of the British government. She faced many challenges along the way, from harsh desert conditions to political rivalries, but she never lost her spirit or her resolve. As Gertrude continued her political work in Arabia, she became increasingly involved in the region's independence movement. She saw the potential for Arabia to become a prosperous and thriving nation, and she was determined to help make it a reality. She formed alliances with local leaders and helped to unite the various tribes and factions that made up the region. Through her tireless efforts, she became a trusted advisor and a respected voice in the independence movement. However, her journey was not without its dangers. There were many who opposed her work and sought to undermine her efforts. Gertrude was targeted by assassins and faced threats to her safety on a regular basis, but she never wavered in her determination to see her mission through to the end. Despite the risks, Gertrude continued to work tirelessly, and her efforts paid off. In the end, her persistence and her diplomacy helped to secure independence for Arabia, and she became one of the key figures in the formation of the new nation. Gertrude Bell's adventures in Arabia did not end with the establishment of the new nation. She remained actively involved in the political and cultural life of the region, and she continued to take on new challenges and new missions. For example, she played a key role in the establishment of the National Museum of Arabia, where she helped to preserve the rich cultural heritage of the region for future generations. She also worked to improve education and healthcare in the country, and she helped to promote economic growth and stability. Gertrude also became a champion of women's rights in Arabia, working to improve the status and opportunities of women in the region. She helped to establish schools and training programs for women, and she worked to raise awareness about the important role that women could play in the development of the nation. Throughout her adventures in Arabia, Gertrude remained an inspiring figure, known for her courage, her wisdom, and her compassion. Her legacy continues to inspire adventurers and political leaders around the world, and she is remembered as one of the greatest pioneers of her time.